What's going on? This is going to be a super simple video. I shouldn't be wearing a sweatshirt. I just got back from the gym. Got a little bit of time, and I'm going to clean up the crown on this Crosman G1 Extreme. I've already recrowned it, but I needed to do a better job. The first step you want to do is put a pellet into the breech, but do not cock the rifle. So you want to put a pellet in there, but don't cock it. That's going to keep trash and stuff from getting into your gun. You don't want metal shavings into your gun. First step after that, so second step, would be to cut however much you want off of the barrel. You don't even have to cut it. You can just use the existing crown. I just chose to cut about 1 inch of it off. I think that works out better. You can just use a hacksaw. The third step, get a file. A good file with a handle on it. Let me set the gun down. Get a good file with a handle on it and a brush. Keep your file clean. When you're filing the end of your barrel, you want to constantly be moving it around. So file maybe 10 times this way, rotate it. File 10 times, rotate it. I mean, you don't have to do it 10 times. You can do 20, but the constant rotation of the barrel is what's going to help you get it to somewhat of a square. You can use a steel rule. You can use any flat surface to check it, but if you're filing on it, it's going to have a little bit of a radius, and that's okay. Once you've gotten it acceptable, once you've gotten it at an angle that you can live with, this one, I've worked on it a little bit more. It's still got a high spot where I cut it kind of crooked with the hacksaw, but this muzzle device is going to hide that. I just wanted to do a better job because when I did it the first time, it was like hacksaw, deburr, did the recrown, and that was it. So I just want to do a little bit better job with this one, and that's what I'm doing. So once you've gotten it filed down, you want to go around the outside edge. If you can catch the burr with your fingernail, file it off. You don't have to go crazy there, just deburr it. That'll make sense in a minute. What you need now, very important tool, is an RCBS deburr and chamfer tool. You don't have to use an RCBS one. I've got several that I use for reloading. This one works the best for this. The other ones have a little too much leverage, or they're just a little, this one works the best. I've got this toothbrush loaded up with gun oil and PTFE and all kinds of different lubes. So just a little bit of lubricant will help cut it. With cutting a crown, this is not a firearm. So you don't have to have a specific angle. You don't have to have a specific type of crown. You just need it, when the pellet exits the bore, you need it to be uniform. That's all you're after. You could probably file it off and somehow deburr the inside a little bit, and it would probably do okay. But I like to put a good chamfer in there to kind of protect the crown a little bit. And I think that little bit of an angle helps as the pellet's exiting the barrel. That's just my own hypothesis. But take your lightly lubed deburr and chamfer tool. Again, there's a pellet in the breech, so it's keeping the trash out of the gun. And you're just going to take, like this, lightly. These barrels are soft. And just lightly cut. Just barely any pressure on there. Okay, cut a little bit, rotate. That's going to help you from getting off onto one side. And just do that, for a while. Again, light pressure. You don't want to be bearing down, create more problems. So again, just cut, rotate, cut, lightly. You can do the same thing for the breeches on these Crosman guns, and it makes a massive difference. Rotate. So I'm going to do that for a while until I get a nice deep chamfer right there. And it's best to remove the barrel from the gun to do this. It's a lot easier. If you have the barrel still on the gun, just put the gun on the ground and do this. I'm holding it up because I'm trying to show you how I'm doing it. And periodically, as chips develop on this, take your lube brush. If you are into guns, you should have an old toothbrush. But take your lube brush, clean it off, reapply a little bit more lube. Just continue to just lightly. It takes a lot. It takes probably 15 minutes to do a good job. I'm just cutting, rotating, cutting, rotating, cutting. So once you've removed the material that you want to, I'm okay with this. I didn't go as deep as I did with the 22 cal, but I don't think it really needs it, to be honest. I've got a sanding block here with some really fine sandpaper, and I'm just going to polish this until I can't see any marks, basically. This is just for aesthetics. You could probably leave it like this. I'll show you how to check the crown after I get done with this. You don't have to use a sanding block. You can just use sandpaper. You can use probably a dish Scotch-Brite pad. But just do this right here. Until it's shiny. Okay, once you've used a really fine sandpaper, it's going to be like a mirror finish almost. It's mirror finish. You can stop there if that's what you want to do. If you've done a good job and you're not running a break, this looks good. But I think this looks better. This is just a tiny amount of a 3M pad. And then I'm just going to buff this out. It gives it a different texture. This is just from preference. This is just preference. Okay, Q-tip. I've got these gun cleaning Q-tips. You can use a regular Q-tip. But I just pull some of it off so that it's kind of fluffy. It would be easy to pull some cotton off if there were a burr. And you're just going to put it in the end of your barrel like that and twist both directions. Pull up, shove it down in there. You just want to see if there's any cotton that gets pulled, if there were any kind of burr in that crown. And this one's good. So that's it. And you could probably clean your bore before you put your brake back on, but I didn't do that much work to it. So probably do this step after you clean your bore, because there might be some trash that gets stuck in between the end of the crown and the end of the little brake here. That's the wrong size. All right, tight, nice and oily. So you've got that pellet in your breech. Go outside and shoot it. Okay, you've shot your pellet. Safety on. Cock your gun. This is probably not the safest way. See, I've chamfered the breech there too and cleaned it off really well. I think chamfering the breech on these cheap Crosmans makes a massive difference on accuracy, because it doesn't deform the pellet at all when you go to close the breech to shoot the gun. Higher end guns, you'll see that. You'll see them already, they're already cut out. The cheap Crosmans, they didn't do it. I've got a couple that I've left like that, and they're really selective on pellets. And I think one of the reasons is if you have a pellet with a longer skirt and you don't force it down in there, which I don't really believe in, and you don't force it down in there, you're got that too big. If you don't force it down in there, when you close the breech, it deforms the back of the pellet. You'll see it shaving lead off of the end of the pellet. So just run an oily patch through your bore. Careful. You probably hold it, make sure it don't go off, but it's all right. That's it. There's all the bad junk. Comes right out. You can see it. I could see it come out. So that's it. I could clean on this for days, but there's no reason to. Just shoot some pellets through it. I'm going to go zero this gun again because I just dropped it during this whole process. And I'll show you what kind of group this thing will do at about 12 yards. Okay, this is just going to be 5 shots. I need to zero it better. I dropped it. That scope is on its last leg. And I don't have any of the good pellets handy, so I'm using the Crosman 7.4 destroyers. But it'll still probably do a good group. This will just be 5 shots at like 12 yards. again, it's not zero perfect. That scope has been on its last leg for like 4 guns now. So I'll have to mess with it a bunch to get the zero to move. But here we go. 5 shots, Crosman Destroyers, fresh recrown. So pretty good results for not a lot of work, but hope you enjoyed it. If you got any questions about it, or if you got any suggestions, let me know. But in my opinion, that's that and the breech, and then, you know, make sure your seals are right. That's how you can really get some accuracy out of those cheap guns. But I hope you enjoyed it. Have a good day. See you later.